Got some pretty interesting new data that we wanted to dig into. Let's go ahead and put this up on the screen. So, a record share of Americans are now living alone. Nearly 30% of American households comprise a single person. That is a record high. If you're looking and if you're watching this, you can see the way that the number of people living alone, the percent of one person households, just skyrockets. Sort of starting in the 50s, even 60s, but it's continued to go up, and now we are at record-breaking numbers. There's a lot that contributes to this. The older you are, the more likely you are to be living alone. So partly it's, an aging population. Partly it's the fact that fewer people are getting married. Partly it's the fact that you have more divorces, so you have fewer people who are married at any given time. And I also just think it has become more of a sort of acceptable phenomenon. I mean, in a lot of ways, our society is less doing things together in the real world, and apparently that includes cohabitating.
So I support people having individual ability to pursue like what they want to do outside of the strictures of family, because I think that that can be very oppressive. That said, I think we've probably gone too far. And one of the things that you often hear from a lot of people who are elderly and who do end up living alone is, for the lack of a better word, they feel lonely. They feel like they desire social connection. Even what they point to in the report around this is that humans are social creatures. And the problem is not living alone per se. It's that living alone is indicative of lower familial ties, of less community. And it's not like, I know many people who live alone who are very, very socially active. These are people who live alone because they need their own space, but they also are out, not every night, but a couple nights a week, meeting friends, in social clubs, trivia night, whatever. But for every one of those people, I know probably 5 others who live alone and report feeling very socially isolated, being attached only to their job, feeling very atomized, not feeling fulfilled very much in their life. And also you can't ignore cost, really from a lot of this, which is that it is much more cost effective to have like networks of family who are around you, who can help care for your kids, who can, help you in whatever circumstance that befalls you whenever you're with people. Even when you're younger and you're with roommates, there's a real kind of community aspect that happens, especially when none of you are making all that much money and you're trying to figure out like who you are and what to do in life. I think those are important things. So I don't know. I think it's sad because I don't think old people, many old people don't want to live alone. They just kind of end up living alone. And then many young people also, they don't want to live alone, but sometimes it's the only way to make something work. So anyway, I think things have moved in a bad direction.
It's interesting. So at younger ages, it's men who are more likely to live alone. At older ages, it's women who are more likely to live alone. They talked to a number of researchers in the field of basically like loneliness, which I do think is a really under-discussed problem in America, where we have all of these like social media connections, but we're lonelier than ever. But they said there are different ways of living alone, right? You live by yourself, but you have super active social life and you're out and about, and maybe you live in a city and those connections are easy and you have a big network of friends and family or constantly over, or you're over at their places. That's one thing. Another thing is, you live potentially more in a rural area, and living alone means that you really are alone. And, all the research says that this isn't good for people. Like, we are social creatures. We are not meant to just be solitary all the time. And, there's also different personality ranges. Some people are more introverted. They can handle that psychologically better than people who tend towards the extroverted end of the spectrum. But we really have moved away, and the way that our cities and suburbs in particular are even constructed make it so that there are barriers to being together in person, and instead we're fed this sort of like fake social interactions that end up not providing the real world benefits that actual in-person relationships help to create. So I do think that this is contributing to some of the issues that we have with loneliness in society.
Oh, there's no question. I mean, this is why, I've taken some flack for this, but part of why I'm not really for 100% work from home, because, and especially for really young people, because I think that, and I'm not saying this is a good thing, but it's a very key way to meet people, to meet friends, to be involved, especially post-college for a lot of people, to have relationships and develop a new life. And, work from home, I think, is great for people who are well-established, for 100% work from home, who are well-established in their career and they don't have problems with any of that. But I've personally seen a lot of people who kind of suffered from that. And look, I'm for flexibility, and if that's what you want to do, I think that's, go for it. But I've seen a trend towards some atomization at much younger ages, which which I really think is not good. And I don't know how to fix that. You know, I don't know. There's no work solution to that. There's no government solution even really to that. But sociologically, it obviously does have a lot of problems.
Well, maybe Elon Musk can get together with the other tech oligarchs and destroy all of the social media platforms, not just Twitter, and that may actually be very healthy and beneficial for us.
You might be right. You definitely might be right. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Hey guys, if you like that video, go to breakingpoints.com, become a premium subscriber, and help us build the best independent media organization on the planet.
That's right. We're subscriber funded. We're building something new. We want to replace these failing mainstream media organizations.
So again, to subscribe, it's breakingpoints.com.